everyone, it's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess to do your reading for the month of May. Let me just tidy up before I start. I usually remember to do it before I start, but I'm getting a bit tired today. This will be for the sign of Aries. Okay. I'm going to change decks for this one because I didn't have time to give that one a really good shuffle. So, okay, we're going to use Cat Black's Golden Tarot here to do your reading. So this is for the month of May. Please remember the readings are only general, they're not a personal read. And I will pull you a oracle card from the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms guidebook. Okay, well, from the deck, not the guidebook. The Colette Baron read. Okay, Aries, let's go for it. Oh, okay, so we have the World card coming out. So the World card talks about you closing out some sort of cycle. Very often we've been round and round and round in a particular journey and going nowhere. So sometimes it can be going round in a relationship that doesn't really go anywhere. Sometimes it can be that we are cycling in patterns in our life, whether they be at work or in our relationship, but we are not coming out of a cycle here. Something to do with love here for you. So it could be that you've been trying to maintain relationships that don't really work out the way you want them to. It could be that you are ready for something more now. You could be ready to have a relationship perhaps after cycling through. Ten of Pentacles coming here. So there is something coming in for you here that you can work on. Something that's going to bring you a great deal of happiness here, Aries. Okay, let's see. You could have been meeting a lot of people. You could have been, having a sort of very casual approach to relationships. And I feel that somehow or another here you're being given an opportunity for something more stable. You could be dealing with a Capricorn, Taurus or Virgo. Someone who's very practical, very down to earth. And definitely wife material here. So maybe you're about to meet someone, maybe you've already met this person, but this person is giving you an opportunity to break cycles here. Okay, so the Four of Cups is about, and this is exactly what I just said, perhaps you've been having relationships that haven't really, people have been offering something to you that hasn't really given you what you want. And I don't know what that might be, but with the Four of Cups, it sort of signifies that you've been bored with perhaps playing the field or perhaps cycling, perhaps getting into the relationships with the same type of people. Maybe you've always sort of ended up with very similar people and you're starting to realize that you've got this pattern of bringing in similar personalities. Okay, so we do have the Empress. So somebody is definitely coming towards you that's different. This is someone you want to build with, someone that you want to have a family with, someone that you are going to want to settle down with. This person is very much the type of person that you have wanted, but you've been so busy sort of going through these patterns and now they're about to close out. So maybe finally somebody's showing you what you want in a relationship or being reciprocal, showing you back, reflecting back to you how you want to be treated. So it may be that you've been in relationships where you've been constantly giving but you haven't been getting back here. Okay, so we have the Five of Swords. Now, the Five of Swords is that card of walking away from things, not necessarily winning, not necessarily coming out in front. So maybe you've walked away from a lot of relationships because they haven't really shown you what you wanted. But there's definitely this sort of feeling here that you have been the person to walk away from things in the past, things that haven't worked out well. Sometimes when we cycle, we can be getting people in all the time who are, possessive and jealous, and we keep walking away thinking we'll find someone who isn't that way, and then the next person comes in the same. Or maybe you've been, finding people who are very materialistic or very focused on what their needs are rather than sort of wanting to work with you on a relationship. But I feel like you're finding the right person here. We do have the Victory card coming in. So that's really nice. Okay, 5 of Cups. Don't be looking back at the past there, Aries. Something is in your future. So you may have been very disappointed with the fact you couldn't find the right fit for you. You may have been very disappointed that the people you were meeting weren't quite the right person, right type of person. And maybe you went into each and every one of them with a lot of faith and a lot of, a lot of trust in what you were walking towards. But it's that whole thing of just keep meeting the same person with a different face. So you may have been meeting very narcissistic people, very selfish people, very driven people. And I feel that you've been looking back here, wondering why you keep meeting the same type of person. But there's been some sort of realization because you are closing this cycle out. Okay, and look at that. Okay, beautiful. Okay, sometimes in relationships you have to be prepared to speak about what you want. You can't always go into a relationship or into a situation thinking that the other person has got to work you out. That just doesn't work. Good communication is the key to relationships. It's about you communicating your needs to someone and the person understanding what those needs are. You can't hide behind not having to say anything, because what happens then, if you're not speaking up or expressing yourself somewhere down the road, that situation's going to turn cold because someone has thought you were a very different person to the one that you were presenting. This is about good, clear communication. This is about expressing yourself. It's about you expressing what you want in a relationship and allowing the other person to tell you what they think is a good relationship. So it can't always be your way. It can't always be the other person's way. You become a team and you share. And it looks to me like you're getting this from this relationship. Okay, yeah, because you're working on this 8 of Coins. So you're both prepared to work on this time. And maybe you've had relationships where you felt you've put in the work. It could be that you've had relationships where the other person's always put in the work and you haven't wanted to. But this is a relationship that is built for both. So there's good communication, there's good understanding here. You're allowing the past to go and you are not staying within what you think is the right thing to do. You're allowing the other person to put in the energy as well. Closing out some sort of cycle. Somebody's coming your way to offer you abundance here. You're being given an opportunity here to have the life, the family, the person that you wanted. And I think you're realizing now that the life you've been leading or the patterns you've been going through haven't been good for you nor for the other person. And I think you're ready to settle down now, but you are closing out an old way of being or doing in order to bring this in. The thing is, I mean, you may have been doing all the right things, but maybe because you were doing the right things, you felt the other person wasn't. And maybe they were, but you weren't allowing them to be what they needed to be. So it was sort of, it could have been a situation where it was your way or the highway. Could be that the people you've been dealing with may have been that way and not allowing you to put in your 2 bobs worth and only believing in their way of doing things. But this is very reciprocated energy here. And it does show that you are fed up with the way you've been doing things and you do want to bring someone in you can share with now. Okay, so we have from the Oracle deck, the High Lady of Love and Compassion. And this is about reverence, kindness, and consideration. How beautiful is that? Okay, so it's card number 1. Okie dokie. When the High Lady of Love and Compassion chooses to be your ally, she brings you a deep and meaningful message. She reminds you that only love is real. It is the sole, unconditional and true power behind all means of manifesting out of the unseen into the material. Love's greatest creative power is ignited by the conscious action of compassion. Generosity of the heart, reverence, respect and empathy for all living things brings you profound power to live a life of happiness and contentment. Love, compassion and kindness to all must be the impulse behind your thoughts, feelings and actions when your intention is to create a prosperous and abundant life. Unconditional love will be returned tenfold. I think because you're changing the way you are, you're bringing in the right person now. The High Lady also reminds you that when she chooses to be your ally, she brings you evidence that you're loved. All manner of synchronicities align in your favour. If your question refers to a relationship, you're required to think of the other person, inquire what is in his or her highest good. Give selflessly without asking for or expecting anything in return, and let go. What is yours will come to you. Kindness always returns somehow. You will surely receive that which you give in more ways than you can imagine. So I strongly feel here, Aries, because you're finishing out a cycle. You're bringing in someone who's going to want to invest in you as well. What a beautiful reading. Thank you.